Hello, welcome. This is Here's Your Good Health. My name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center. This show is for you, by you, and about you. It's designed to help you become the best you can be, learning how to take care of your health and staying on top of yourself, eating healthy, moving, doing all we have to do to stay healthy. So tonight my guest is Dr. Jean White. She's been here many times. She's a dear friend, and we always have a good time when we get together. And so I asked if she would talk to us tonight about heart healthy meals. You know, it's February, it's Heart Month, and Jean and I are part of a group that's having a big event coming up next week.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday. We
tomorrow.
do a Go Red for Women gala. Is it gala or gala?
I think it's
Gala.
I don't know. I call it gala.
Okay, well, I'll call it gala. We'll just be different. Anyway, and it's a fundraiser for the American Heart Association, and we worked really hard, and it's going to be beautiful. I'm really excited about it. So anyway, it's Heart Month, and I wanted Dr. Jean to talk about heart healthy foods and just good healthy foods in general. And really, to be the truth be told, we should eat heart healthy every day, not just in Heart Month.
Right.
If we would all eat healthy all the time, we wouldn't have to have a Heart Month, maybe.
That's right.
That would be better, wouldn't it?
We'd all be healthier.
I know, that's exactly right. So anyway, good evening, my dear friend, Dr. Jean.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So I'm a health coach.
Yes,
And
tell everybody all about you, what you do.
What I do, I'm a certified Optavia health coach, and I help people who are really frustrated with their weight. They can't seem to find any program that works for them, and if they do lose weight, they gain it back again, which doesn't help anything. It's harder to lose it the second time than it is the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you do that, it's the yo-yo effect. It just lowers your metabolism, so you're not burning your food as quickly, and so it's just harder to get that weight off the more you do that. And I coach them through the program that I coach, which is called the Optavia, and the program is actually Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health Transformational System. So I love the program. I've lost a little over 100 pounds on it myself, and most of my clients are pretty successful on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've referred some people to me.
Yes. One of my patients at Family Medical, she wanted to lose weight, and I referred her to Dr. Jean. And she lost enough weight that she dropped her A1C from a diabetic number to a normal number, and she was really excited about it. So eating right can really make a difference. And I love the word transform.
Transformation.
Transformation.
Right.
We have to learn how to transform ourselves, and that, to me, transformation says it's not like that.
Nope.
It takes time. You've got to learn it. You've got to apply it. It's got to be part of your life, and that's what I love about it.
Well, the premise is that we all developed habits of disease over our lifetime.
Yes, yes.
And those habits of disease have gotten us where we are.
Yes.
And in order to get healthy again, we have to remove those habits of disease. But when you remove a habit and you don't replace it with another habit, it leaves a void.
That's right.
It's either going to come back or a worse habit's going to come in there.
Yes, and we don't want that.
So we don't want the void.
No.
So whenever we remove a habit of disease, we have to replace it with a habit of health. And so that's what we do in this transformational system, is to help you to develop new habits of health, so that when you do lose that weight, you're not going to gain it back again.
Right.
It's a habit is something that you don't think about. You think about it when you're developing it and installing it into your system, but once you got it installed, you don't think about it anymore. You just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like getting up and brushing your teeth in the morning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
You know.
Yeah. So did Dr. Anderson, did he have a weight problem, or what?
No, Dr. Anderson was an intensivist, which is a doctor that takes care of people in intensive care. He was #1 in his medical school class and has won lots of awards. And he got frustrated because he had people in intensive care, and he would help them get well enough to be able to go home, but 3 or 4 months later, they're back in intensive care again.
Same problem.
Because nothing had changed.
Right.
And he didn't have the time as an intensivist to help to teach them what they needed to know, to help them change those habits of disease into habits of health. And so they would just go home and eat the same foods and not exercise and do the same thing that got them in intensive care to begin with. And they'd come back, and he said, I need to get them upstream before they get here to my intensive care. And I didn't know how to do that. And so he developed this system and started using it. And after a while, he decided he could do more good for people by doing this than, I'm referring to the textbook that comes with the program. By doing this than by being an intensivist. So he quit his job at the hospital, much to the chagrin of the hospital. They loved him, you know. And he went into doing this full time. And to training coaches like myself to.
How long has he been in it, do you know?
I think I'm thinking about 15 years now, maybe. I'm not sure exactly how long.
I've read the book. It's very good.
Yeah, it is a very good book. Yeah, I've read it several times.
Yeah, I've got,
I use it so much. So.
I think you probably need to reread it over and over to really get it established. You know, it's hard to change habits and to make a new habit. But once you got it, like Jean said, then you don't even think about it. You just do it.
And if we've installed it for life, then the rest of our lives we're going to do the healthy things, make the right choices, make the healthy choices rather than the unhealthy choices like you were talking about earlier.
And I tell my young moms especially, you know, this is a perfect opportunity for you. Not only do you lose weight and you learn how to eat, but you are teaching your children. You don't realize you're teaching them, but, you know, I noticed I've always eaten, you know, I'm pretty big on vegetables, and we do eat a lot of carbs. My husband's Italian. Hello, pasta. You know, it's a staple in our house. But I never, you know, if I ever make a casserole or anything, I always throw some vegetables in just to you know, enhance it some. But so now my kid, and I always gave them, you know, whole wheat bread. I wouldn't give them white bread, especially like Wonder and stuff. It just kind of mucks up and clogs you up, or I baked my own bread when I was home with my kids. And now my kids they eat healthy. They just as soon have a pepper cut up with some ranch as, you know, a bag of potato chips. Yeah. So it really, you do influence your children. You don't realize it at the time, but you do.
One of the things that mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles do with children is they reward them with food. You know, if you'll do this, then I'll take you to get ice cream. You know, right? Or they want a cookie. Well, if you'll do this, then I'll let you have the cookie. Right. So we learn to reward ourselves with food. Yes. So as adults, we continue to reward ourselves with food.
That's right.
And comfort ourselves with food.
That's right. That,
you know,
that's exactly. And I do that.
So when you get upset about something, you get the ice cream out of the freezer and you eat it right from the carton.
Absolutely.
That makes you feel good, right? I'm comforting myself with this carton of ice cream.
We don't realize we're doing it, but we really are.
That's what we're doing because we learned that as children, that when you are upset, mom gives you food. You know.
And in an Italian family, you cannot walk in the door. I don't care if you just finished a meal. You walk in and you're going to get a plate of spaghetti or a bowl. They usually give it like in a small bowl, like a cereal bowl, you know. And oh, Linda, you have to have, here, try this, here. You know, those Italian grandmas, they're pushing the food, so.
Not just Italians.
Not just Italians.
Southern grandmothers do that too.
I guess it's a grandmother thing, not a ethnic thing.
They take really healthy collard greens and put bacon grease in them.
Yes.
You know? And it may taste good, but that bacon grease is clogging up your arteries. Yeah. It's not good for you.
I do admit I do like some cabbage with some pig in it.
Yeah.
I don't make it a lot, but I do. Sometimes I do. I just feel like
St. Patrick's Day or just...
I mean, we eat a lot of cabbage. I make stuffed cabbage and rolled cabbage, and cabbage is cheap, and to me it's
cabbage
good.
Cabbage is good for you.
And it's good for you.
Yeah,
so, yeah. So we're, you know, and eating lots of fruits and vegetables really helps with your cholesterol.
It does.
And people don't believe me. You'll feel better if you lose weight. Your joints won't hurt as much if you lose weight. You won't be as tired if you lose weight. You're going to want to exercise if you lose weight. Your cholesterol will go down if you lose weight. You can make your sugar diabetes go away if you lose weight and eat right. But it's,
or at least decrease the medicine you're
right.
on. Yeah.
But it really is true. How many pills did you get rid of?
I was on 27 different pills when I started the program. And I'm down to about 4 now. So I've gotten rid of a lot.
Yeah. So if Jean can do it, and she just did this in the last few years. It's not like she was 25 when she did it.
No.
She was retired by then?
Yep. Yes,
she was already retired. So, you know.
Yeah, when I retired, when you retire, you kind of take restock of your life and decide, who am I now? Because I was a nurse practitioner my whole life, and I thought, now who am I? So I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and I was almost 300 pounds. And I was unhealthy, didn't have any energy, didn't feel good most of the time. I had all the things, that come with that. And I looked at it and said, if I keep on going where I'm going now, and I don't make any changes, within a couple of years, I'm going to be in a nursing home being taken care of. And that is not how I wanted to live my retirement years. So I had been on, I think, just about every diet that's out there. And I thought, I don't know of any other diet to try. And then I found out about Optavia, and I thought, well, why not? I mean, I've tried everything else. May as well try this. And fortunately, I got one of the best coaches that Optavia has, and she and Optavia have changed my life.
And you still have her as a coach?
I still have her as a coach. Yes, I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She's now my health coach and my business coach. When I became a coach for Optavia, she became my business coach as well as my health coach.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about some foods.
Okay. The key is to increase the amount of healthy food that you're eating and decrease the amount of unhealthy food you're eating. So one of the things we need to increase is our vegetables, especially low-carb vegetables.
Of course, I love all the high-carb
All the high-carb vegetables, yeah. Like what?
Corn, butter beans, sweet peas. That's all those starchy vegetables.
And they're better for you than ice cream.
Yes, and they're probably better for me than a piece of bread.
Yes.
But you do have more starchy vegetables, and then you have, I don't know, what's the word, cleaner vegetables, less starchy vegetables, I guess.
Low-carb vegetables.
Well, cabbage is a low-carb vegetable.
Yeah, it is.
Carrots.
Carrots have sugar in them.
Carrots they have a high glycemic
I would limit the
value.
Carrots. Yeah. They do have a high glycemic. High glycemic means that your blood sugar goes up quicker.
Right.
And we don't want it to go. We want things. That's why we're eating low-carb things. Is because if you eat higher-carb things, you eat them and your blood sugar goes up. It just spikes. And when blood sugar spikes, your body makes insulin.
Yes.
In order to carry that out of your bloodstream, make it across the cell membranes. Because sugar can't enter your cells without insulin to carry it across the cell membrane.
Right.
So your brain says, oh, there's too much sugar in the bloodstream, let's get some insulin there to get rid of that, carry it across the cell membranes and get rid of it and lower it. And insulin, unfortunately, the side effect of insulin is weight maintenance, gain. It doesn't want, it makes you hold on to your weight. It doesn't want you to lose weight. So you don't want all the insulin in your system, and you don't want all the sugar in your system either. Because somebody the other day was talking about, I don't remember where I was, somebody was talking about blood sugar. When the blood sugar gets too low, that your brain cells start dying. And I'm thinking, when your blood sugar gets too high, your brain cells start dying too.
Yeah. It can go both ways.
The brain cells and the nervous system, those are the cells in your body that are most sensitive to blood sugar. And too much blood will kill them. Not enough blood will not blood. Too much sugar will kill them. And not enough.
And
sugar.
we have to have a certain amount of glucose in our bloodstream. That's how God made us.
Yes.
Our bodies work that way. But when we get too much, and then if you do get a spike in sugar and you go, psh, and then when the sugar goes and you crash down, then you really feel bad.
You're tired, you're sluggish,
nervous, jittery.
Yeah, you don't feel good.
Nauseated.
You're yelling at everybody.
I would never.
Never. So you want to eat, and people think about, well, I'm not eating sugar, but you're eating corn, and right. And corn is good for you. It's got a lot of fiber in it, But if you're eating too much corn, then and I could eat 2 or 3 ears of corn at one time. I just love corn. Yeah,
I know.
So, but
and like potatoes, that's another starchy vegetable. I love a baked potato.
and again, there's nothing wrong with eating some potatoes,
Right.
but not every day.
Right, and not loaded with
Not loaded.
with cheese and sour cream and butter and I could not eat
bacon.
Yeah, I could not eat that twice baked potato last night. It was way too rich for me.
It was pretty rich.
Yeah. We went to a Valentine dinner last night, and it was delicious. We went to Smith's Pavilion. I just saw that they had a commercial on. I don't know when they play it, but it's really nice. It's a venue out there. They don't have a dining room where you go and eat, but they do have this was their first Valentine dinner, and it was very nice. I enjoyed it. The was very low key, and the music was nice, and
we had a table of people that we knew sitting together and enjoyed fellowship with each other.
Yeah. And none of it there was not one low calorie anything. Well, maybe the salad.
Yeah, the salad was good.
Well, I don't like goat cheese. So.
Yeah, but I like goat cheese. It was. I don't know what the greens were. It was a dark leafy green.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
Mine had spinach in it. So
it had some spinach in it, and it had goat cheese and strawberries and a vinaigrette dressing in it.
And some nuts.
And some nuts, yes.
Yeah. So I ate everything but the goat cheese. I just kind of picked that. I think it's because I have
She's got goats and she doesn't like.
I've got goats and they have a distinct odor, and I can smell that and taste it in goat cheese.
Yeah.
I think that's what it
could
is.
be.
I'm not real big on real pungent taste, although I love blue cheese, so you figure that one out.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
Just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I guess you like what you like and you don't like what you don't like, and I just don't like goat cheese. And I've got a dear friend who has a goat farm, and she milks her goats. She makes all sorts of products, cheese and yogurt and milk. She sells all that. She's got a store on her farm, and I love her dearly, but I'm not going to buy any of her products. I'll buy her lotions and her candles.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'll buy.
So one thing you can do to eat healthier is increase your vegetables.
Yeah.
You get filled up on vegetables, you don't have to eat as many other things.
Right.
And fruits are also good for you, but fruits have sugar in them, so you have to limit it. So, if you get a choice between vegetables and fruits, you shouldn't have fruit all the time.
Right.
I would choose fruits over vegetables most of the time.
I know.
But that's how I got to be 300 pounds.
Right.
Yeah. So the fruits that have the lowest amount of sugar are the berries, any kind of berry, strawberries, blueberries,
raspberries,
those kind. Any kind of berry would be the choice if you're especially if you're trying to lose weight, because you can eat more of those and not spike they don't spike your blood sugar as quickly.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So that's good. Whole grains is another thing that is for a healthy diet. Is whole grains, and unfortunately, whole wheat bread is not whole grain bread. It's just as bad for you as white bread is.
Yeah, I know.
It has to say whole grain on there. And they trick you by coloring it and making it brown and making you think, oh, this is brown bread, it has to be healthy. And it's not. It has to be whole grain bread.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that when I was raising my kids, but I know it now.
I didn't know that either, but I found that out.
Yeah. Well, we're going to stop right here because it's time for our first break, and then when we come back, we'll talk more about heart-healthy foods. And I want to talk about this Stacy Hawkins, who is, if Jean is a big fan of hers, and she does a lot of low-calorie, low-carb dishes, and they're really good. Jean and I do a little cooking show once a month, and we eat her foods, and there's very few that I don't like. One of my favorites that Jean made, was called an egg roll in a bowl. And so it was, it was all the egg roll ingredients without the outside of it, and then it was in a bowl, and it was really good. Actually, one of my friends from Minnesota watched that segment, and she sent me a text and said, that was delicious, I loved it. So I had to send that to Jean because, my friend made that. She continues to make it. So, all right, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about Here's to Your Good Health with Heart Healthy Foods. Don't go away.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Hi, I'm Richard Goss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
Hello, hello, welcome back. I forgot to tell you earlier that this is February 15th, so we had Valentine's Day yesterday. I think we did talk about that. We're live tonight. It's 7:25, so if you have something you want to call, talk about, ask Jean about, give us a call, 407-1111. So let's go back to our heart-healthy foods.
You want to talk about Stacy Hawkins?
Yeah, we can talk.
Yeah. Optavia has a contract with the Culinary Institutes of America up in Chicago to create recipes for us so that are compliant with the program. And we have a Pinterest page that we put those on. And so people can get them. You never can run out of recipes. We have so many recipes, and they're delicious. I use them when I have company over, and they don't know that it's not really diet food.
Jean's a really good cook too.
Well, I love to cook, and Stacy was going to the Culinary Institutes to become a chef, and that's how she learned about Optavia.
Oh, okay.
And she lost 120 pounds.
Okay.
But and she knew how to cook the ones that the Culinary Institutes had created because she was there learning to be a chef, right?
Yeah.
So when she graduated from chef school, she decided to make a living out of making new recipes. And her idea is if I tell you to eat food that doesn't taste good, you're not going to stay on it.
Right.
So she travels around the world and looking for spices, and she creates her own spices. And if you can use spices instead of salt, so that you have low sodium food, which is another habit of health, is to lower your salt intake.
Right.
Yeah. So, and she creates all these wonderful recipes and has them on her webpage, stacyhawkins.com. You can, and she always tells you what's in the spices. She has spice mixes and what's in there, so you could really just use those spices instead of using her mix if you wanted to. But I use her spices because they're so good. They're just excellent. And she comes out with new recipes every week. And I try them.
And she sends an email out once a
She
week
does.
with new recipes, because I'm on her email list.
Yeah.
And she just put out one. It's a chili lime shrimp.
Yes, I saw that.
I'm going to make that.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. I am. So my daughter and son-in-law are coming over Saturday night for dinner, and so I thought I'd make that chili lime shrimp. My son-in-law is a pescatarian. He'll eat fish, but he won't eat any meat. So we'll have that. And I thought I'd make some risotto because Sarah is gluten intolerant, so she can't have any bread. So, but I like risotto.
I was looking for a St. Patrick's Day recipe to make for next month for our
Yes,
cooking show, for our
yes.
Essential Health cooking show.
Essential Health Cooking. I'll remember that one of these days. It takes me a little while.
And so I was looking at her page, and she's got a Reuben in a bowl.
Yum.
So I thought that sounds like just what we need, Reuben in a bowl, right?
Yep, yep.
She usually has the dessert. I don't remember. It was a parfait of some kind, a green parfait.
Oh, well, maybe we'll have to have dessert.
Yeah, so
this time.
we'll have this time we'll have the Reuben in a bowl, and we'll have a Reuben parfait, St. Patrick's Day parfait. Yeah,
Green parfait.
parfait, yeah, but
Green makes me
that's
think
compliant.
of lime.
Yeah, or mint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes me think of lime, but
Yeah.
it could be mint,
Yeah.
certainly.
Yeah. So I use her recipes a lot because they're just so good.
I do too. I've started to really, I look through when I get the email, and if something looks good to me, I just choose to make it, and if something doesn't appeal to me, I just
That's
delete
right,
it.
Yeah.
There's
not many websites that I recommend to my clients because they're not monitored by people that know Optavia. They're clients that decide to do their own thing, and
Right.
And so, but she being a trained chef and knowing Optavia the way she does, she's making sure that she's compliant. She tells you,
Right, right.
what's what. And she also has some suggestions sometimes for if you have a family and you're eating this low carb type of diet, and you have people in your family that want potatoes and want corn and want all. She gives you suggestions of how you can add for your family, so you're not cooking two different meals, one for yourself and one for your family.
right.
You cook one meal and just add
this and this so that
Yeah.
they're satisfied.
so that they're satisfied, and you get what you just don't eat that part of the meal.
Well, that's, yeah.
So that's a
Yeah,
good suggestion
yeah.
because if you're having to cook two meals every night, that's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to get old
That
in
gets
a hurry.
old
Yes.
real fast.
Yeah.
It's bad enough you got to cook one, let alone two.
Yeah, my sister's got a nephew that's autistic, and he only eats certain things. So
Oh.
she has to cook him a meal, and she has to cook her husband a meal, and she has to cook herself a meal.
Oh,
And it's
good
3
grief.
meals every night. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want that. So yeah, that's Stacey Hawkins. She adds
Yeah.
so much to the flavor, and
Yeah,
a couple people stay
her
on.
recipes are really good.
Yeah, they are.
I really enjoyed them. So
So we were talking about whole grains. Oatmeal is another whole grain, not instant oatmeal.
no, don't eat instant
Yeah,
oatmeal.
no.
Anything that's in a box or a can or a package, you can't eat. You just can't. And I used to. Oh, we got a call! Yay! If I can remember how to do this. Hey, this is Linda and Jean. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
My name is Michael Hopkins. I'm from right here in Rocky Mount.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
I had a heart attack back in 2019,
Ooh.
and my doctor told me one of the first things he said to me was, "No more salt, no more red meat, no more fried foods."
That's good advice.
I've been working on that. That's not an easy thing to do.
No,
I'd
it's
like
not.
for you, if you could talk about some what would be some good heart healthy foods. I try to do baked stuff, and my wife's helping me with it. But if you could talk about some foods that would be really good,
Okay.
good tasty food, but that would be heart healthy too, I sure would appreciate some
Okay.
knowledge and wisdom on that.
All right. But
Help me on with my diet.
Okay, but I would really suggest that if you have a computer at home, go to StaceyHawkins.com, because even though they're not necessarily labeled heart healthy, they are heart healthy.
Absolutely.
And so that would be a good way for you to pick up some new recipes too. But we sure will. I hope you're doing well after all of that.
I am, thank you. And I've been walking, exercising, and doing the best I can with the food, but I could use all the insight that I can get on that to help with that.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
It's tough. We'll talk about it. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Another good source of recipes would be Pinterest/Optavia.
Okay, well there you go, Michael. That's another one.
So if you go to Pinterest and /Optavia, all of those recipes are going to be heart healthy.
I don't know why it doesn't go off. Oh well,
Not either.
I'm not going to worry about it.
I'm not either.
So,
But
for Mr. Michael, was it Michael Hopkins?
Michael, yeah.
Michael Hopkins. You know, you can't eat salads all the time. You're going to get bored with them. But any lean meat, and you can even have a piece of steak every once in a while now. You know, you can't cut
12
everything
ounces.
out. No, not 12 ounces. You can't cut everything out of your life.
No.
But now, for a good rule of thumb for a piece of meat is the size of the palm of your hand.
Palm.
So, you know,
Not
my
the fingers,
pork
just the
chop
palm.
can be this big. Or, you know, I can't do it. But just the palm of your hand. So that's something that you can go by, Michael. So, you know, I mean, if you've got a craving for a steak, I mean, I get a hankering for one. I loved that prime rib we had last night. It was delicious. Am I going to eat it again tomorrow or next week? No, I will not. But, you know, 6 months from now, I'll say to my husband, I want a steak. And we might go out and get a steak, or we'll cook one on the grill. So that's something, you know, of course, lots of fish. And if you grew up eating fried fish, that's going to take a while to get used to the broiled
or baked
or steamed. But and you know, you've got to give yourself time to try new things. Some things you're going to love, some things you're going to say, oh no, forget that. Any fresh vegetable, steamed or baked or stir-fried. I like to put my oven up really high, like 500 degrees, and I love okra, and okra's coming pretty soon. I can't wait. And I take the whole okra, leave the little hat on, whatever you call that nub on the top of it. I just wash the okra, put it on a pan, and I put a little olive oil, sprinkle a little olive oil on it, salt and pepper. You can't have the salt, but you can use Mrs. Dash, or you can look at Stacy Hawkins' different spices, because you would like those, and that would enhance the flavor. And then you put that in the oven for about 8 minutes, 10 minutes or so, kind of shuffle it around or stir it around once or twice. And so then you pull it out, and then you sprinkle it with Parmesan cheese. And that's delicious. And Parmesan cheese is heart healthy.
Yes.
Any hard cheese like that, you know, soft, like cheddar and those kind of things are full of fat. So you've got to really limit your cheese. They do make a low-fat cheese called Laughing Cow, and I like that myself. But it's not. It's more of a spreadable cheese that you could put like on crackers, or it could put it in the stalk of celery. You know, you can put, instead of putting cream cheese in it, you could put that low-fat cheese.
You
so
put it
those,
in your potatoes too, if you have to have cheese in your potatoes.
Yeah. So you know, those are some ideas. We talked about fish, chicken, and turkey. You know, they're
Poultry,
lower in
poultry.
fat. And there's a lot of pork that's really pretty lean that you can have. You know, there's a lot of fatty pork. Now that you've got to stay away from. But and then you're going to have to invest in some cookbooks, or I like to read recipes online. That's what I do, and then I just print what I want to make. That because I made heart healthy chicken wings, and I made my own stir-fried rice. And made that healthy, and that's what we had for Super Bowl Sunday.
I was just going to ask, did you have it for Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the chicken, and if you have an air fryer, or you can get an air fryer, you can put a piece of chicken in there. Will get it really nice and crispy if you like, you know, the skin crispy. I don't eat the skin myself.
It's
real
better
funny.
not to eat the skin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But if every once in a while you could.
Yeah.
So
And we don't say that, or I don't say, I can't speak for you, but we don't say that there's any food that you can't ever eat. Because as soon as I say you can't ever eat that, you're going to crave it.
I know.
You know, so I say you can have that a small portion once a month. You know, something
And
like that.
tell them what the 1, 2, 3 rule is. Is it 3, 4, 5 rule? I don't know. Some rule.
That you can take one taste and 3 tastes. The 3 bite rule.
Is that what it is?
The 3 bite rule. Yeah. There's something that's not on your eating plan that you really want. You can take up to 3 bites of it. The first bite is just to say,
This is delicious.
It's still as good as I remember it being. You know, or you might take it and say, you know, it's just not as good as I remember it being, and not have to take any more of it. But if you really love it, oh, it's just as good as I remember it being. And then the second one is to just really savor and enjoy that taste. The last one is to say, thank you for being so delicious. I'll see you again in 6 months. Bye. You know, so you don't have to eat the whole slice of cake.
Right.
You know, you can, or the whole bowl of ice cream. You just have 3
You don't
bites.
have any recipes here, do you?
No, just
just the information. So, I guess don't go to the food pyramid. The food pyramid for the food industry is upside down.
It is.
It's not right at all. But and for heart healthy, you know, you've got to limit your fats, and you've got to limit. You know, you can get like low-fat mayonnaise if you want to have a little sandwich with a little bit of mayonnaise on it. There's lots and lots of spices. And you know, I don't know how old you are, Mr. Hopkins, but they do have some cooking classes out. I know they have it at Nash Community. They probably have it at Edgecombe too. I don't know. I don't get their flyers. But they teach you how to use herbs and things like that, so that might be something that you'd want to do as well.
Yeah, every semester they have different cooking classes.
Right,
so, yeah.
right. And so that's something, you know.
Last semester I think they had a heart healthy cooking class. It was called Heart Healthy Cooking. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Chef Burkhart does those.
That's something you can think about too. But just don't give up, and you know, if you got to have a hot dog once in a while, just go ahead and eat it and get it over with. Like, you know, we don't promote those kind of things.
No.
But eventually, I mean, I took me a long time to stop the way I was eating and learn how to eat better. It took me about 5 years to grab the peach instead of the potato chips. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, when you've been eating some way for 50 years or 60 years, you're not going to change it overnight. But the whole goal is to continue to learn, continue to make those changes, continue to strive. I tell my folks, if you've got to have a cheeseburger, get a side salad instead of the French fries. You know, give yourself the little bit of treat that you want, but then don't go the whole way. Or if you want French fries, then you don't get
Just
the
get French
burger,
fries, yeah.
or you get the salad to go with it. So there's just little things like that. What
make a big difference.
Yeah,
It really does.
How long did it take you to learn how to eat like this?
It took me about a year to really get where I wasn't eating. You know, when I was overeating before, it was ice cream and chips and cheesecake and all that kind of stuff. And now it's, you know, I'll have another salad if I want to eat something. Because sometimes you just want to eat. You're not hungry, you just want to eat.
Yeah.
Because again, eating is comfort. You deal with feelings because of by eating and whatever. And so I eat, but now that I overeat, when I overeat healthy things instead of overeating bad things for me.
Well, you know, and you get to the point, Michael, that you don't even want some of that stuff anymore. You taste it and you go, it doesn't even taste good. And once you start learning how to eat real food is what I mean by fresh food. I don't believe in eating out of a can. I don't believe in eating out of a box. And so once you start eating that kind of fresh food, you're not going to, and your taste buds start to develop for what God made for us, then you're going to want more of that too. It just is going to take time, and it sounds like you've been out from your heart attack for a while, but don't give up, because it took her over a year. It took me 5 years. I'm not kidding you. It took me 5 years. I was a junkaholic, and now I'm a foodaholic, but you know, you're not going to find me eating too much junk.
Yeah.
I just don't.
It's like last night at the dinner we went to. They had dessert that was it was really delicious strawberry parfait, and I took a taste of it and it tasted good, but I'm thinking it's not really what I want. You know, I took a couple bites of it and it was I enjoyed them, but you know, it wasn't the same as it was before.
Yeah,
it just wasn't.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing
Right.
wrong. It was delicious, but
Yeah.
I just didn't want it.
Well, we were pretty full with all the other
Well, that's true.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
it was. They gave us a 12-ounce piece of ribeye or of prime rib.
Prime rib, yeah.
Nobody needs 12 ounces of ribeye. I don't care if you're 6'5" and 300 pounds. You don't need 12 ounces of meat like that. So, I mean, you, Bob, and I could have split that
Yes, we could
entire
have.
dinner
We could have.
3 ways.
Yeah, the entire thing.
Everything.
Since it would be hard to split two pieces of scallops.
Yeah, yeah. And I took the bacon off of my scallops. So, you know, I can't, since I lost my gallbladder, I can't eat greasy foods like that. I pay the price. It's just not worth paying the price. All right, it's time for our next break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about heart-healthy eating, how to change those habits. Maybe Jean can talk about some of the habits of health that she uses for health coaching. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hang on.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Hi, I'm Richard Goss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
All right, we're back. Hello, hello. We've been talking about some of the other things we're going to talk about here. One thing you have to do is read labels, and boy, that can be a chore.
Yeah.
But if you don't read labels, you know, there's so much hidden bad things in our foods. You just read spaghetti, a jarred spaghetti sauce like Ragu or Prego or one of those that is manufactured. sugar is like the second or the third ingredient. You don't need all that sugar in a tomato sauce now. I mean, I do probably put a teaspoon of sugar in a big pan just to kind of cut sometimes it has kind of a bitter taste, but it's not my, my my second or third ingredient. So
if you're avoiding something, it should not be in the top 4.
Right, it should be towards the end.
Towards the end. If it's in the top 4, don't eat it. If sugar's in the top 4, don't eat it.
Right. And sugar is in so many things. Ketchup. Now, we were talking about they've made now a sugar-free ketchup, but when they manufacture foods like that and they take out the sugar, they put something else in for flavor, and usually it's fat. So then you've got to make sure, and especially you, Michael, you don't need all that fat in your diet.
Nope.
So
you need fat, but you don't need, you need healthy fats.
Right.
Yeah.
Avocado, olive oil, things like that.
Yeah. I make my own ketchup. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. In the summertime, I make it because I get tomatoes and and make spaghetti sauce out of it too.
Yeah.
And then I make zoodles
Uh-huh.
out of zucchini instead of using the noodles. But Sally Karsmark says that it's not the same as eating pasta. She's Italian too.
It's not. I can tell you, it is not. I am not a zoodle fan. I would just soon just have the spaghetti. I mean the
I'm happy with
the meatball and the sauce,
Yeah.
and then I'd probably dip bread in it though.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about limiting salt, right?
Yes, yes.
So some ways of limiting salt are reading the label to see how much sodium is in it, and using products that say on the label low sodium or no sodium or that kind of thing. And when you're choosing vegetables, fresh is the best, but you can't always get fresh vegetables all year long, or in certain locations. So fresh is first, and then frozen will be your second choice, and canned would be your third choice.
And then try get the low salt, but I'm here to tell you that low salt, anything like that, is gross to me. Well, I don't eat a lot of salt. So
and you can add spices to it too.
Yeah, that's what you'd have to do.
Add the spices to it.
Doctor it up with Stacey Hawkins stuff.
Yeah.
She's got some good stuff.
She does, yeah.
So.
And eating at home more often.
Yes.
You know, you go to the restaurant, you order something that you would cook at home, and you really don't know what they're putting in it.
That's right.
For flavor, you don't. You may think you're eating a healthy meal, but.
And it might be.
It might be.
Probably not.
But you don't know. So they can add some stuff that you wouldn't think about, and they add like meatloaf. When you eat it in a restaurant, many times it has sugar in the meatloaf. Sugar in meatloaf. Do you put sugar in your meatloaf when you cook your meatloaf?
No. I don't put sugar in my rutabagas either. I love a rutabaga, and sometimes when you go to Smith's, I don't know, so they must have different cooks or something, because sometimes they're delicious and other times it's way too sweet for me.
Yeah.
So I don't. A lot of people put sugar in their vegetables.
Well, it's like going to Golden Corral. Sometimes the fish is delicious, and sometimes it's just way too salty, and I can't even eat it because it's too. So I don't know if they have you're made to be different cooks or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
using herbs and spices to flavor your food instead of using salt. Sometimes I'll use the herbs and spices and just add a little bit of salt, just a hint of the salt.
So yeah, I will salt my food some, but I normally salt when I cook, and then I don't add salt. And my kids will complain, "Ma, this is so bland. Here's the salt shaker." I'm so used to it now that I don't even realize it anymore. But there's some fast foods, like I cannot eat Chick-fil-A. That chicken sandwich, it is so salty to me. I just can't eat it.
And it's fried.
It sure is. Yeah. Fortunately, I don't like fast foods, and I don't like Chick-fil-A, but
they've got some they got some tasty things.
They do.
But I don't go to fast foods very much at all. Every once in a while, but not often.
Yeah.
So avoid using anything that's pre-made or prepackaged or instant products.
Yep.
Because they almost all of them have lots of sodium in it, and that's something you want to avoid. Other thing you want to avoid is
your fats.
Yeah, saturated fats.
and sugars.
Do you want to say anything about saturated fats?
Well, saturated fats are bad, except for butter. That's really good. That's not true. That's not true. You know, unsaturated fats are found in, you know, some vegetable oils are not good for
That's
you.
right.
So you've really got to do your research.
You do.
I've started using grapeseed oil because olive oil is no longer pure olive oil. Did you know that?
Depends on which olive oil you get.
Yeah.
You have to watch.
You have to watch. And
It also has a very low, what do you call it, where it smokes, and you don't want to be smoky.
right,
Yeah.
right. Because I've got really
It's good for like in a salad or something like that if you're getting really good olive oil,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not for cooking because
Right.
it just smokes too easily.
Yeah, so I like the grapeseed oil. It's very fresh tasting and it's real light. But you know, all the that's why the fatty meats are bad, because it's all that fat from the animal. All that marbling in a ribeye that makes it taste so good is so bad for us. But anything that comes from an animal like that, we should stay away from. And we need to get our oil from certain vegetables and from nuts, grape seeds.
Nuts and seeds, yeah. That's right.
And so, you know, we need to eat lean, lower fat, skinless meats. You know, we're not supposed to. Fortunately for me, I don't like the skin on chicken and turkey and things like
It's
that.
very tasty,
So,
but I have to not eat it.
yeah. And then, you know, I don't eat any dairy products because I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't tolerate it. But you know, if you're a milk drinker or if you're a yogurt eater, then you need to do the low fat
Cottage
milks.
cheese.
Cottage cheese. Does that come low fat?
Yeah,
Oh,
it does.
I don't know if I've ever eaten it low fat.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I haven't, just haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
And sugar, you know, they add so
Sugar,
much
yeah.
sugar in anything. We've already talked
Everything.
about that some. So,
Everything.
so if brown sugar, corn syrup, dextrose, fructose, glucose, high fructose corn syrup, raw sugar, and sucrose, anything with an "ose" on the end is some
Gonna be
kind of a
sugar,
sugar,
yeah.
and stay away from it. Although I will say, I tell my patients that if you've got to have a Coca-Cola, go ahead and drink the sugared Coca-Cola, because all the chemicals in the diet, I think, are worse for you than the sugar in the soda.
Yeah.
I
have to
don't.
be careful
I
about
don't
that.
promote soda drinking. I don't promote sweet tea. I don't understand this Southern tradition of dumping sugar
ton
in
of sugar,
tea
yeah.
and making it into a syrup. I don't get it. Because I was raised in the North and we don't put sugar in our tea. I've always drank unsweetened tea. I've always drank black
Yeah.
coffee. It's just the way I was raised.
And when you're traveling, you can tell when you're in the South because they don't ask you; they just bring you sweet tea.
You have
in the
to
North,
ask.
you have to ask for it.
And then
they look at you like, "What?"
Well, and then it's always cold tea with sugar.
Yeah.
They don't brew
They
it.
don't brew it with the sugar. Yeah.
So you can't ever get enough sugar in a cold drink like that.
And what's your take on artificial sweeteners?
I don't like them.
Yeah.
I think they're chemicals.
I do too. I would only use natural things like stevia or
Monk fruit.
monk fruit. Yeah, or something like that. That's not chemical.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's the only one I would recommend.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm just I'm pretty big on all natural, and chemicals are not natural. They're all man-made and
Bad for you.
they're bad for you. Including most drugs, which I write for, and we have to have some. But you know, I want to stay away from drugs as much as possible and do everything natural as much as possible.
And I have had, when I was practicing as a nurse practitioner, I've had clients that really just get confused and can't think good when they're using artificial sweeteners.
Causes some brain fog,
Yeah,
you think?
it does. Yeah, and when they get off, and that's one of the first questions I would ask: are you using artificial sweeteners? So let's try the first thing. Let's try the easiest thing first. Just stop using the artificial sweeteners and see if it clears up. And most of the time, it did.
Wow.
I very rarely had to do any further.
Well, that's something, ain't
Yeah.
it, folks? Yeah, yeah. And
So
then,
why
you know,
get a brain scan if you can just stop using?
Right, that's right. Right. Let's try that first. The brain scan will always be there if you have to have it. And then, you know, we've got to stay away from sweet, sugary desserts and donuts and all that kind of stuff too. And like Jean said, we had that dessert last night. And it's okay to have a dessert once in a while.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I have a sweet tooth. But I'll buy myself a slice of cake. You know, they'll sell just an individual slice. I'll eat off of that 4 or 5 times. It might take me 2 weeks to finish it. I know it sounds
Take a
gross.
bite. Yeah.
I just take a bite or two. That's all. I just want a little something.
Well, that's what last night. Just a couple bites was all
Right,
I didn't
right.
want with the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can do it. You can do it, Michael. Go to StacyHawkins.com. Go to Pinterest/Optavia for some good recipes. You can Google heart healthy recipes, and they'll come up with stuff, and you'll be able to read it and decide what you think you'd like to try. I would suggest you try the egg roll in a bowl because it's really good, and that's heart healthy. It was lean. Jean made it with chicken. I made it with ground turkey. You could, or
You can use either one.
or ground beef for that matter. You just have to, when you buy ground beef, make sure it's at least 95% meat and only 5% fat. Because some of that ground beef is 30 and 35% fat. We don't need any of that. And I think even though you drain it, I don't know that you can really drain all of it. So, all right. Well, it's time for us to say goodnight. Thank you, Dr. Jean, for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. I hope we've helped you a little bit. And give us a call in a few weeks and let us know if you found anything that was good for you. Y'all have a blessed evening, and we'll see you next week with more of Here's to Your Good Health. Good night.